What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week, I've been driving the 2025 Volkswagen Golf R. Up front is a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video here today because this is the Golf R. I've been given the opportunity to live with this as my daily driver for 7 days and 7 nights, and I'm very excited to tell you why I think this might be one of the best daily drivers you can buy today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackbradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 under the hood. Well, by and large, it's the same motor that you would get in the GTI. However, this has been tuned up quite a bit. The GTI makes 241 horsepower, while this makes 328 horsepower. So this has enough to bite your head off and some. That has been the loveliness of this vehicle. It's not like a 10 horsepower jump over the GTI. It's not a 30 horsepower jump. This makes 87 more horsepower than the GTI, and you feel every one of those ponies. Now, like I said, paired to it is a DSG automatic transmission, and unfortunately, that's the only way that these cars come now. There is no more manual option. I do think the automatic is good. It shifts very, very quickly, as we'll see here in a second. However, slow speeds are kind of questionable. Last but not least about the Golf R, it is all-wheel drive, where the GTI is only front. This has torque vectoring all-wheel drive, which makes pulling through corners so much more sensational, so much more lovely. It is really, truly awesome. How does it feel to drive the Golf R? Well, it drives really great at speeds. Around town, it's comfortable. At speeds, it's great. It's very manageable, it's very predictable. However, as I alluded to earlier, at slow speeds, it's not that great. It's kind of a bucking bronco because it always wants to run. However, you can let it run. So let's let it run. Up to highway cruising 75 miles an hour very quickly, and that is just sensational. This thing is quick, and even at highway speeds, when you're already going, you put your foot down, it actually kicks you back. It's so joyous, and it's so much more power than any hatchback needs. But it has it, and this is the most powerful hot hatch. The GR Corolla only makes 300. This has 28 more horsepower than that. So driving-wise, it is pretty spectacular. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior, because we have great and terrible points to make in here. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Now, you can configure this several different ways, and I'll let you pick your favorite, as well as if you go into the menu and change the ambient lighting. This will also change the lighting and color package for the graphics and the menus. So lots of customization there that I love to see. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise, as well as our R mode, which will put it into race mode. And off to the right, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen. We get a little R badge down at the bottom and paddle shifters around the back. Off to the left, we do have our headlight switches, as well as our climate vent. And moving on to the door, we have lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get our giant infotainment display. This does offer wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is fantastic. It is easy to use, easy to see, and I like how it's shaped towards the driver. What I don't like is that the climate controls are ran through the screen. There is no physical button for fan speed, which I change all the time. There is no button for fan speed, and this is tremendously annoying. Also, if you want to choose your drive mode, it takes away your map. So it is very annoying to use. But at least we have a backup camera. There you go. But then we do have hotkeys for the drive mode, climate, menu, and assist, but this just takes over your infotainment. Down below, we do have 2 USB-Cs and a wireless charger, and in the center, very simple, we have the start-stop button, shifter in the center, and power parking brake. Down below, we do have cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test. And for a normal water bottle, this openable, closable cup holder actually is perfect and it works really, really well. However, when you close this, you actually can fit the big friggin' bottle. It's held in there rather snug and doesn't fly all over the place. So I give this a big pass. Next to that, we do get a 12-volt outlet, and we do get a center console that's empty like my soul. And then we get the seats. I love this blue accenting on the seats. I love that little hint of color, and I love that they are kind of throwback seats with the plaid design. I like that they say R, and the biggest thing is that they've been very comfortable. That, by and large, has been the biggest thing about this Golf R, is that it is comfortable to sit in for long periods of time, and I mention that because the GR Corolla isn't. The GR Corolla on a long trip punishes you, where this, I'm actually filming this in Milwaukee, headed back to Chicago. It's actually been very comfortable. No difference from this or say my Mazda 3 or any other hatchback. It is a comfortable seating position, and I like that a lot. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right. Getting in the back of the Golf R, I realized I forgot to close the driver door. Getting in the back of the Golf R, this is not a great place to be. My knees are jammed into the seat in front of me, head is hitting the ceiling. However, I do want to note that the best back seat in this sort of category, I guess, would be like the Civic Si/Civic Type R. Mazda 3 is a cramped back seat. GR Corolla has a death sentence of a back seat. Golf R GTI, no good, so there's no real winners in this category, so just kind of deal with it. I do have heated seats back here, which is really nice, and my own temperature control back here. I don't know of any of those other cars that have that. So although this is the most expensive of the bunch, it does have nicer features than the rest of the bunch. Kind of interesting. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. Something I've always loved about modern Volkswagen is how they integrate the rear trunk handle into the logo. Absolutely love that. Once we are back here, nothing really too crazy, no big claim to fame back here. We do have some pockets on either side. We can lift this up. No spare tire, however, we do get a big subwoofer looking thing, so I guess that's neat, but other than that, nothing too crazy. We do get a pass-through for the back seats, as well as the back seats do go down, which is nice, but it is a very usable hatchback, and I love to see that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is the black edition, which means it is blacked out. It gets black badging, black accenting, black wheels, and if it were me, if this were my own personal vehicle, I would nickname this the Black Pearl and probably fly the Jolly Roger behind it. I think it looks mean, although I do like the blue color that the Golf R comes in a little bit better, so I'd probably choose that personally, but I do like this. This kind of looks like Darth Vader's helmet, and I like that appeal to it. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Golf R for the last week? Well, it's been a very, very positive experience. Besides the infotainment, which is excruciatingly annoying. Beyond that, once your climate and music is set up, the rest of it is fantastic. The driving feel is great. This thing is quicker than it needs to be. It's fast, it's fun, it handles incredibly well. That torque vectoring all-wheel drive. I took some serious corners in this thing and had no issues at all. No screeching, no skirching, no swooping, no whooping. It didn't make a peep. It just went around the corner and kept accelerating. It was fantastic. It's also comfortable enough. It's not uncomfortable to where I'll notice it, if that makes sense. So that's a good thing. Is this a Rolls Royce? Of course not. But for a daily driver, my back isn't hurting, my butt isn't hurting, I'm not getting jostled around. That is what's really, really nice about this, is that it can do both. It can be a happy daily driver, but also a sport machine. If you want something that you could drive on the weekdays and the weekends, this is kind of your answer. And I understand that nearly $54,000 is very expensive, but this has all the fixins. This is the premium package. This is the Golf Plus. This is ad-free. Now, could you find a Volkswagen that has a small fraction of this on the used market? Yeah, you could. But we're reviewing the new stuff here today. And if you walk into a Volkswagen showroom, I highly usher you to leave with one of these. It has really, really been fun. And it's very, very high on my list of cars I'd like to own. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Volkswagen for letting me borrow their Golf R for the last week. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle, and of course the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.